Hey guys, it's JK here. I've been playing this game obviously nonstop for a few days, and I'm definitely loving it. And I think that there's a lot of good resources out there with the Reddit, and I think there's like a wiki kind of forming and everything. But I thought I'd make a video just kind of talking directly to certain characters' strengths and weaknesses, what my impression of the current meta is, because I have played all the content so far, and I thought that that might be helpful to some people. So I'll start off with this 3-step promo summon banner. Obviously, by the time you watch this, if it's a little time from now, it could be different, but this is what people will basically be re-rolling with at the current time. So I just wanted to quickly delve into how these characters are, what you should be going for. Rerolling in this game is actually not that painful. It does take a while to get to that point where you can do the roll, but there's so many different viable options that you don't have to redo it like 20 times. So the boosted rates are for a 5-star base called Anastasia. She's the one all the way on the right here. She's a dark element attacker. She's pretty good as is, I guess. Does a lot of damage, but she doesn't really get a whole lot of good skills from her first job. If you're able to limit break her 5 times, get her second job unlocked, I believe it's called Crafter, she becomes a ranged unit, and she has a couple of useful skills there, including like an AoE and everything, but really she's not going to shine until late game when you get her third job unlocked, and that's when she's going to be really good. So it's kind of like a down the road kind of investment. She's okay now, but she's going to be really good later. 5-star Yomi, the second character over here, she probably needs to get her second job unlocked in order to be really good. So, you know, you'd have to pull like a dupe of her or buy her shards from the shop, I don't know. Or just, you know, get one of her and just, you know, patiently wait for her shards to start coming in to really unlock her full potential. But her second job is Ninja, where she gets a whole lot of mobility, and she also has some ranged attacks, so that's when she becomes really good. 5-star Chloe is this character all the way on the left. She's a very tanky character, actually becomes free later on, like she's given out to you. Right now, if you pull her, you know, she's totally usable, but, you know, she's gonna be outclassed somewhere down the road. But, you know, for now, any 5-star character is usable. And then finally, we have 4-star Regan, the third character over here. Believe it or not, it's a guy. You really want to use Regan as a sniper. One of the unique features about him, I guess, is that his sniper class unlocks in the second job. Usually sniper is like the third job. It's really hard to unlock, but if you get like 3 copies of Regan, you're able to unlock the sniper class, and snipers right now are just completely OP and can dominate like pretty much any content. In fact, I would say that they're probably the easiest to use in the harder content in the game right now. In my opinion, the hardest level is the advanced Miyane shard farming level, and I've seen Sniper Regan solo that. So yeah, 1 copy is probably not going to do you too much good, but if you're able to get like 3, unlock that sniper class, you're going to be set. So yeah, in the current meta right now, like pretty much any ranged unit is going to be very useful, but let's go ahead and take a quick look into the future a little bit. This is a tier list that comes from Japan. This is not the absolute latest. The absolute latest is like basically a year out, but it's more or less like in the ballpark. Some of the characters move up a tier or down a tier, but it gives you a rough idea. So in the dark column, we'll go like, you know, from left down, then move over to the next column. You have Anastasia, we've already talked about. Again, she's a long-term investment. She becomes really good later on. I don't believe we have any of those other characters in that column or that row. In the A to B tier, again, we're sticking to the dark characters. We don't have any of those as well. Decent units, B through C. The first unit there is Zahar, and he was actually one of the original base 5 stars. If you have him, again, any base 5 star is going to be really strong right now in the meta, but he does get outclassed later on, especially by Anastasia. And then all of these bottom tier characters, you can use them. Again, like it's so early in the game that you can pretty much use anybody. Like down there is poor Diaz, who's being cut off right now. He's actually really strong, but he is outclassed even now, and he's outclassed by his friend Loki. We'll move over to the light column here. In the S tier, Loki is there. One of the main differences that you'll be able to tell right away is that Loki starts out with enough crystals or hearts or whatever they're called to use his Holy Saber ability twice. That's his bread and butter. Whereas Diaz only starts off with enough to use it once, and then he has to go into his normal attacks to get that up. So that's already a big difference right there. Even in like arena, Loki's able to spam his ability, much easier, and he's pretty hard to kill. Let's moving down. I don't believe we have any of these characters yet. Okay, so again, decent units, B through C tier. We have Chloe, tanky character, but doesn't really do a whole lot that's special. And then we have a couple characters down there. Any characters on the bottom are not really worth re-rolling for, or you can use them if you want, but they're not going to be like worth mentioning or investing heavily in. Now in the fire column, we start off with in the S to A tier, we start off with Zangetsu. He's a really good damage dealer. He starts off as a samurai, I believe. What's really good about him is that I believe from his second job on, he's able to buff his attack by like 2.5 times, and then do just a massive attack. Problem with him is that he's really slow. So one of the early metas that I've read is that you pair him up with a Chronomancer, which is basically like a time mage, and that Chronomancer will do overclock on him, or even quicken to help him out a little bit. And he's able to basically overcome that weakness of being really slow and powerful, and then he's just powerful and fast because of the support. So that's one of the early metas. Very good character. Second character over, I believe, is Chihaya. Okay, my dog is barking. Is Chihaya. She is a dancer to start with, but I believe later she becomes a Chronomancer. Again, that's a very, very useful class. Dancers are able to debuff everybody on the map, but the percentage is kind of low, so it's not like really make or break, but definitely useful for now. Right next to her is a very, very tanky character named Vettel. He's actually the top arena unit in the game right now. If you look at the top ranked players, they all use him. And the reason for that is because he has a rare combination of passives that gives him very strong physical defense and magical defense, making him hard to kill. And he has a lot of like elemental options, and he can always target the opponent's weakness. So he's very good right now. He will fall off a little bit later in the meta, but that's not for a while. So yeah, people who get like 2 copies of him get his second job unlocked. I think it's like Holy Cavalier or something like that. Basically can dominate the arena right now. Don't know any of those characters. I might be missing a few faces, but I'm just going off the my memory right now. So decent units again with the fire column. We have the free healer Miyane. She does fall off later in the meta again, but she's free. She gets the job done, and if you farm up enough shards and unlock her bishop job, she becomes a really good healer. Yeah, so I mean, if you need a healer, she's obviously free. She's very useful. None of these bottom tier characters are really worth mentioning. Okay, so in the blue water column, the first unit in the S tier with the plus symbol is Lofia. Now, Lofia deserves a special mention because she's really strong right now, and she's really strong into the future. She never drops off so far. So right now she starts off as kind of like a holy tank kind of thing. A really tanky character. But later you're actually going to be using her, like in her later jobs, you're actually going to be using her as a Chronomancer. Again, a very useful class, but she's going to be very, very tanky, which is a unique feature. So that's what makes her really good in the later game. But right now she's really special because she's one of the few characters that's able to like withstand a few attacks from the advanced Miyane level. Most characters will just get one shot killed, but not her. I believe she's actually the most used character in that level, probably for that reason. All right, so again, what is this? A through B tier, one tier down in the water column again. First character is Lamia. She's a spear user, and very solid, but really nothing too special. So she will drop off a little bit later, but right now, she gets the job done. Next to her is Regan, who we've already talked about. If you get 3 copies of her, you're probably going to have one of the most OP classes in the game, which is Sniper. Let's see. Yeah, the third one over here, Michael, not really worth mentioning. I'm not really a huge fan of mages so far. Maybe I just don't know how to use them that well. And then at the bottom tier here, we have a couple of ranged units. Again, as I mentioned, right now, ranged units are very strong because enemies don't have a ton of HP, and it's more important to, just kind of like pick them off from afar or whatever. So even Elaine and Mizuki, even these characters are usable right now, but they will fall off later as enemies get stronger. In the lightning column, the yellow column here, the first woman with the plus symbol is Karis. Starts out as a gunner, which is, again, ranged units are very good right now. Gunner class does fall off a little bit later, but she also is able to, transition into a sniper, which is going to be really good. Next to her is Magnus, who kind of feels like a really, not super unique, but has very good AoE ranged attacks, which is going to be very useful for farming. Basically, from here on out, it's going to be very useful. Maybe not for the absolute top end content in the future, but you're going to be using them a lot. Don't know any of these characters. Well, I recognize some of those limited characters, I guess. And then bottom tier, again, not really worth mentioning. I see a Vanikist there, I think. Who is actually pretty decent right now, but is going to fall off later. We have a ranged character down there as well. And then finally, the last column, the green column here, the first dude with the plus symbol is Lucien. And he's actually really good right now, and he's going to be good into the future. What makes him so good is that he's kind of like a brawler, but he's super mobile, and he's, actually kind of hard to kill. So you can run in there, do like a roundhouse kick and do like a nice AoE sweep of the enemies. Really good stuff. Base 4-star character, not impossible to get or anything like that. So yeah, he's going to be good. He's good right now. He's good into the future. Next to him is Yomi, who we've already talked about. She's good as well. Next to her is Rahu, who is a currently available support. She actually starts off with job 1 being Chronomancer, and again, that's a very useful class, so she can start pumping out overclocks into the really good attackers. So she's good right off the bat, and she's really good into the future as well. I believe she's actually considered top tier in the latest tier list. So yeah, definitely worth investing in her. One tier down, the second character over, we have Elmyra, who is a base 3-star character, very easy to get, and also later, like a couple months down, you'll be able to farm her shards. She starts off as a hunter, which is basically an archer class, but once you're able to get some of those shards going, you'll be able to unlock her sniper class pretty easily, and again, sniper is OP. Next to her is some kind of mage, I forgot her name, but again, usable. I'm not a huge fan of mages. And then down here we have some familiar faces, but not really anything worth investing too heavily in. So that's my, kind of rushed overview of the current meta and kind of a look into the future as well. Again, this is not the absolute latest tier list, but it's just the one that shows up clearest on my phone. And hopefully I kind of explain some reasoning behind it so you get a better sense of that. But yeah, let me know what you think. This video has kind of already gone on too long, so I'll end it here. But comment down below, and hope you enjoyed. See you guys next time.